Okay, Coach Carl coming to you today from Carl's Corner. And yeah, we've had a lovely day so far. It's been a little stormy, a little rainy. It's about 70 degrees. It's wonderful out here in Navasota, Texas today. Quick reminder, Mother's Day giveaway, free lessons to all moms, women in our lives. Those are available on thisisgolfgold.com. Just follow the link at the top of the page and you'll get there. Looking forward to helping as many moms as we can reach together to be introduced to golf. All right, let's talk about practice time for a little bit. I've talked about practice a couple times before in the context of making sure that every shot during your practice session gets your pre-shot routine. We've talked about how practice should include both block practice, which is the same thing over and over and over again, as well as variable practice, which is different things each shot, so that you are training for variation, not just for a repetition. Let's talk a little different about practice today, kind of on the lines of variable practice. But one of the conversations that comes up frequently with my students is they'll tell me some version of this story, right? That on the driving range, they can hit the ball pretty good and they're happy with how they hit it, and it goes towards their target, and they get more good shots than bad sometimes. And the driving range everything seems fine, and then they get onto the golf course and everything falls apart because they can't put two good shots together, and everything's just crazy, and they hit bad shot, then hit another bad shot, and they can't get over it. And it's like, why can't I just be consistent? And I always like to tease with them and say, well, you are consistent, you're just consistently bad. And they kind of chuckle, I guess. They don't maybe not like to hear that, but I know what they mean, right? Because on the golf course, on the practice range, they might be able to hit 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 shots in a row that feel pretty good and go towards their target. And out on the golf course, they can't even hit 2 or maybe even 1, right? That first tee shot is a disaster. So why does it happen that we can't take our practice game onto the golf course? And it's a mental change that happens from practice tee to actual tee. When we are on the driving range, it doesn't matter if you hit a good shot or a bad shot. You might feel good, or you might have a little bit of a feeling not good if you hit a bad shot. But at the end of the day, it doesn't alter your score. It doesn't make you feel bad as far as getting embarrassed in front of people. There's no real consequence if you hit one so far right or left in the driving range. It's not going to go out of bounds where you have to have a penalty stroke on your next shot. So it's not really causing you any type of pain or costing you anything when you hit a bad shot on the driving range. But when you're on the golf course and you hit a bad shot, it does. It hurts because now you're keeping score, and it costs you some type of pain when you hit a bad shot. And so because the shot has consequences mentally, we have to be in a different place when we're on the golf course than when we are on the practice area. So here's the golf gold for today about practicing is you have to find a way to practice whereby you are creating consequences for your practice time. You have to put some pressure on yourself while you're on the practice tee or while you're on the putting green, so that you can feel a little bit of the nerves and what it feels like to be back on the golf course, right? So if you have a buddy that can practice with you, this is a good thing to do with a buddy, is that make it into a competition. Not all of your practice, but a few minutes of it. Make it a competition, and put something on the line, right? Have some type of a consequence that if you win, you get the candy bar from the vending machine, and if you lose, you have to buy it for him or her, right? Or you'll force them, right? If you all 4 of you are practicing together, when I was at the Golf Academy in Arizona, we did this a lot on the driving range, and it was a ton of fun. Not when you had to pay, but being able to get a free soda from your buddies because you beat them. It's kind of a fun feeling. So if you have some friends you can practice with, put something on the line and make your practice time feel like it's competitive. That will help you when you go out and play. If you're on your own, then here's a useful suggestion. I want you to play the entire golf course in your imagination on the driving range. So tee up a golf ball. Imagine that you're on the first tee on Saturday morning and you're there with your foursome or maybe your group, and there's your foursome and 2 or 3 foursomes waiting to, and they're all watching you tee off, and you're feeling the stress and the pressure of having to hit a good shot. And you know what that feeling's like. Well, try to recreate that on the first tee, and then make your swing. And then wherever that ball ends up, imagine what the next shot would be and play that second shot towards the green, right? Just there from the tee box, so that you play all 18 holes in your imagination as if you were on the golf course, trying to imagine and simulate how you would be reacting and feeling if you had just hit a 6-iron that you got it thin and it rolled rather than flew through the air, right? Or you had a wedge shot into a green that was 110 yards away and you totally hit it fat and you chunked it. And you dug a 3-inch hole behind your golf ball and the ball went nowhere. On the driving range, yeah, you might feel angry, but there's no consequence. On the golf course, that's different. There is a consequence then, right? And so you got to try and recreate the feeling of those consequences while you are on the practice range. So the more you're able to do that, then the more you will be able to hit more good shots out on the golf course, because mentally you'll be better prepared. On the other side of this, when you think about your mental approach on the golf course, you got to be a little bit more willing to accept whatever happens, like you are on the driving range. When you're not playing on the golf course, we have to almost in a way try and care less about the consequence or the result of the shot that we're about to play. When you tie some type of expectation to the shot you're about to play, mentally that usually doesn't result in a good place for you to be. And so we need to get into a mindset of having less worry and less concern about the result when we're playing, and when we're practicing, we have to have more concern about the result so that we can actually perform better when we're on the golf course. So there's your golf goal for today. Let me know how you practice. What do you do to try and take your practice game to the golf course? What helps you to perform under stress or under pressure when you got people watching you out on the golf course? Drop me a note. Let me know in the comments. Also, send me any questions you have about merchandise or golf equipment. We'll start talking about those on Mondays during our live sessions together. And I'll answer questions and I'll bring some interesting information about golf merchandise on Monday.